What was it like being a first-time tabler at Lightbox this year? The art world is in shambles, expectations and sales were super duper low, and I was genuinely worried that this year's event was going to be a gloomy one given the state of the animation industry. Plus, me being on a total budget and a first-time tabler, I had no idea if I was sufficiently prepared or not. So here's a breakdown how it really went for me and my sister, if it's worth all the work that we put into it. I hope you find this helpful. Hello, welcome back. I'm back after a couple days of recharging after the Lightbox weekend. Lightbox this year was such a blast for me. As both a tabler and speaking for the people that walked around, I have heard from multiple people that this year Lightbox was an especially special one. No matter if you're already established in this industry or someone who's just trying to break into art school. Everyone in this industry is facing a lot of insecurity, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear about the future and where the animation industry is heading regarding AI replacing us all and all the layoffs and just all the job insecurity that everyone has. It's just a very scary time. So Lightbox ended up being a very healing event for all of us. Everyone had their own shit that they were going through, and they could have very well attended this event being very broken down and bitter and full of fear. And instead, I witnessed something super beautiful as a first-time exhibitor this year, which was the opportunity to soak up all the love and hopefulness from the art community this year. My overall sense was that people just, as best as they could, made peace with this scary time, and even better, made the best out of it, be it reconnecting with the love for the art, apart from it being a profession, leaning into passion projects and side hustles and stuff, which is what people tell us to do anyways in this unstable industry where, you know, a project can get cancelled and you can be without a job from one day to another, which is kind of the nature of this industry, unfortunately. I saw some people at Lightbox this year that I met last year that were so upset at the lack of job interviews they got and the lack of opportunity they saw and stuff. And I saw them this year and they completely grew out of that and leaned into making their own graphic novel on the side that now is super successful in supporting them. It's just all these beautiful, smaller and bigger stories. People that were burned out by a job that were laid off afterwards and then leaned fully into drawing personal art, and that were selling sketchbooks and sketchbooks that they used to heal. Also people that just, without giving up art, just leaned more into non-art related professions and really got into hobbies like birding and stuff that fueled inspiration. I met someone who works in a nature reserve with wolves and stuff on the side of their art. Just beautiful stories like that were really, really inspiring. And yeah, people seemed hopeful about the future as well. Hopeful about the strength that our wonderful little community holds for each other. I feel like the people that stuck around for this really, really shitty time and haven't given up on art so far, it's because they don't have the option to give up on art. They love it too much. It's too much intertwined with their soul and who they are as a person. There's no option to give up now for them. So the people that are left are the ones that are obsessed with what they do, and they formed a really strong bond throughout this really horrible time. And those people will always be super grateful for any gig that they get and never take for granted that we get to make a living or make money through what we love, which, you know, is a huge privilege that I think we're all now reminded of. And we'll also be prepared for whatever next slump the animation industry will face. Everyone always tells you to diversify your streams of income and stuff and have side hustles just in case your main gig doesn't work out, and everyone has been doing that if they want to or not. And people have been fostering a healthy relationship to their art. It feels healthy. And I once again was reminded why art and artists are so important for the world. And our hardships like this often bring us closer to lessons that will lead to ultimately to a happier way of life. And I think both me as a tabler and and people that walked around just as guests have had this experience this year. Number two, I think it kind of healed my relationship to social media. For me as a tabler, it was really special and lovely to meet people that have been following me in my art path for many years and actually see them face to face. Or even this like tiny YouTube channel, people who've seen this tiny YouTube channel was so motivating for me. It's stupid, but like a lot of people, I fall into this trap that I look at the numbers and I'm like, oh, this only has, I don't know, 400 views, this video, like no one actually saw this video, or this picture got less likes like normally. I'm so focused on the numbers, and even if the numbers look good, I always want more. It's never enough. I'm just so focused on growth of these numbers, forgetting that these numbers are people. Like, it's easy to be like, oh, my videos only get 400, 500 views, but if you think about those being 400, 500 people, that's not a small amount. It looks small compared to all the other giant videos, obviously, but the impact that this might have on one of these people is worth so much more than the numbers. And I know that, but it's so easy to forget that and just be striving to more and more numbers and beat myself up over what I want my numbers to be. But seeing people face to face be like, I watched your videos to the end and it had an impact on me, or I've seen your art and it has an impact on me, that is what matters, not how many people see it. Like, who sees it is what matters. Yeah, 20 likes doesn't look impressive, but if there's 20 people who you really inspire, then that makes the world of difference. And it just totally put stuff in perspective for me, totally helped myself be grateful for the people that I do reach and remind myself that the numbers really aren't that important. This is not what it's about. Number three was that I gained more confidence in my personal art through tabling at Lightbox. I was really just selling whatever art sparked joy for me this year. And seeing other people see value in that kind of art as well was so empowering to me. It gives you the feeling, which is true, everyone's artistic voice is unique and has value, and it just makes me want to create more and more of my own art versus art that I think will appease to somebody else or a studio or something. This is so gratifying that there are people out there that want to see your specific voice, and that was really empowering. And also printing my silly little drawings on nice paper and framing them and displaying them nicely on my table as if they were worth something really rewired my brain to think like, these are worth something, these have value. My little silly sketches are special in their own way. It kind of tricked my brain, and it's so easy to beat up your own art or your own voice or your own vision and be like, oh, this isn't unique, this isn't worth something. If you actually act like it is, it kind of rewires your brain to like, no, this is an art piece, this is special, this deserves to have a price, this deserves to be shared with the world. It just, oh, it felt so good. And also just getting a table at this convention, having a table display that I am proud of, walking around with that stupid little badge that says exhibitor on it was such a nice ego boost and so needed after just 2 years of unemployment and beating myself up over where I am in my artistic journey, where I am in my life as a 27-year-old. It's just, I felt so good. I walk away from this experience taking me and myself and my art way more seriously. And even this platform and sharing my personal story like this more seriously. And it's all because I saw that all the people that came up to my table, none of them judged me and myself and my work as hard as I judge myself in my own head, which that's always the fear, right? But we really are our biggest critics, and seeing everyone else have nothing more but compassion and love and support left for me, I was like, whoa, that's why am I so worried about what everybody thinks all the time? People are lovely, artists are lovely. That was so nice to see, and just in general such a valuable life lesson as well. Number 4 was also a big one. I gained more confidence in my own little social skills, which I'm not an extroverted person. I was never a really socially skilled person. I'm a little awkward, I'm a little weird, like a lot of us artists are. So it was crazy to witness how socially warmed up I was after having one conversation with one stranger after another over and over again. I found myself chatting up role models of mine out of nowhere, like it's nobody's business. Because my brain told me if I can have a conversation with hundreds of strangers in a day, then I can also talk to Dice Tsutsumi, who passed our table once, and thank him for everything that he taught me in his classes indirectly and the inspiration he gave me and stuff, which is always something I want to share. But he was like, oh, I can't talk to him. He's a master. I'm not worthy. And stuff. No, we're all humans. He's a human just like me. I realized that it doesn't really matter where you are on your art path. What matters is that we all have the same passion for art, and we all have the same love for art, and that's enough of a reason to reach out and be like, hey, thank you, it's nice. Yes, I was definitely socially completely exhausted after the halfway point, like the middle of Saturday. There was a moment where I was like, oh, I was just socially and physically just at the end of my energy already. But what did never happen during this weekend, just because everyone was so lovely and so supportive, is that part of my brain, that narrative that is constantly telling myself that no one wants to hear what I have to say, or that I'm wasting people's time, that I'm not worthy of people's conversation. It's just that voice was completely gone over the weekend, and I'm so grateful for that. And I think it's just the nature of this space. It feels safe, and the people are lovely, and that is what matters. No one's there to intimidate, to haggle, to talk you down, to lecture you. Everyone is there to support and inspire, and you can feel that. And also, one thing that I love about Lightbox, both at the table and as a person that's walking around, is you can always bond with other artists about how socially depleted and tired you are, and overwhelmed and overstimulated you are, because everybody feels that way. Everyone would rather just be at their desk drawing, but they're all out there like troopers, connecting, showing support, and I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of everyone doing that, and that is always a lovely thing to bond over with other socially anxious artists. Number 5 was the fact that I actually made money for once, as opposed to losing money as an artist. Against all the expectations, this happened. I mean, considering how everyone attending this convention is either trying to break into the industry, or has recently been laid off, or has been unemployed, or is working, but it's a really unstable job at the moment. Considering all those factors, I just took a moment for myself before driving to LA with journaling, when I was like, no one's gonna spend any money, no one has the funds right now to support other artists. I need to be realistic about the fact that I might not be selling things at all, maybe just a couple printings today and stuff, because everyone's in a rough spot right now, and I cannot take that as a sign that my work isn't worth something. I was fully prepping myself for that scenario, but I was blown away by how supportive and generous everyone was that came to our table this year. If you bought a tote bag or a print, a little art book, or an original from our table this year, thank you so much. It really means the world to me and my sister, truly. I was not hopeful at all that I was even gonna cover my printing expenses this year, let alone the table fee and the travel expenses that it took to get to Lightbox in Los Angeles. I did not think that in no way in hell I was ever gonna see that money again that I put out for this. I thought that was an investment in networking or something. I made my peace with that fact. But then I walked out having made almost 2K this year. Together with my sister, our table in total made $3,500 this year, which was insane. So not only did we get our money back, we also actually made some money. And now I know that for professional tablers, this would not be counted as a success, I don't think. Tablers that do this for a living, tablers who have a lot of experience, this might not sound like a lot of money that we made, considering that they also have to pay for flights and shipping their artwork to the location and hotel rooms and all that stuff. I want to be real, me and my sister, we are in such a budget. If you watched our old video how we built our table, we thrifted and built everything ourselves just to save on money, and we took my sister's old van, transported all our stuff ourselves, drove through the desert, and then ended up sleeping either on friends' couches or in the van. We were literally camping in Pasadena, close to the convention center every night, just to save on money, because times are hard and we are very cheap. So considering all of that, we walked out with more money than we spent on this event. And considering the time we put in and the little experience that we had, this was amazing news for us and not something we expected at all. It felt so good. I also wanted to mention that from the beginning of the Lightbox weekend to the very end, we gained both of us about 100 new Instagram followers, which again doesn't sound like a crazy amount to some people maybe, but for us, if you actually see the people like face to face and you have a conversation with every one of these people, it's a huge amount. And every single one of these new followers we cherish like crazy, because now we realize like, no, they're not numbers, they're real people. So again, like I said earlier, it's a really good feeling. Those are 100 real people that we connected and that saw my art and liked it enough that they would like to see more of my art. So thank you all for that. So overall, I think it's fair to say that tabling at this event comes with so many more gifts than just the money that you make. And if you think of maybe applying yourself to table at this event, I highly recommend it. Applications usually open in March, at least they did last year, and then you have like a month or two. We heard back from them in May sometime, and it seems like most people get their rejection or their like, yay, you made it into Lightbox email on the same day. And if you get in, they tell you, hey, congratulations, you got in. Let's all wait until I forget what date so we can all announce that we'll be tabling at Lightbox at the same day together. So that's usually how it goes. And if you table, some people might make more money, other people might make more connections and friends and stuff. It will be different for everyone depending on your art style and so many factors. There's no need in comparing yourself too much to other tablers. But I do think in some way or another it's gonna be worth it for everybody. And I really just dare everyone to just take that big step out of their comfort zone and have that trust in yourself and your art, that you and your art are good enough for a table like that. Your art is worth something, and you really never know that if you're just stuck in your room drawing, or all you ever get is the Instagram gratifications or too little Instagram gratifications and stuff. And this is such a hands-on, real experience to prove to yourself that your art is in fact worth something, that you are a legit artist and that you are in a good way. I felt like I was standing in the shoes of my role models when I was behind this table. Like I was really doing it, and it made me realize that A, all my role models are also just people that are trying their best, and B, like there's no reason that we can't be one of those people that inspires other people, and that is really nice, and I think an experience that everyone deserves.
Thanks so much for watching and listening to my little love ode to this industry. I hope it makes the event sound a little less scary if you're thinking of tabling. I'll soon be uploading another video on some tips I learned as a tabler and attender at Lightbox. Let me know if you have any questions. Until then, bye and take care of yourself. Bye bye.